Hey everybody, what's up? It's Erin here from Petite Planner, and today I have a pretty awesome video planned. It is very long, but I wanted to put together a notebook review for the upcoming year of 2020. I know that a lot of people struggle to find a journal that is right for them, so I wanted to give a good representation of what's out there because there are more and more dot grid notebooks and notebooks claiming to be the best on the market for the price point. And I wanted to share with you today my thoughts and share with you some pen tests. So I will be doing that today in 10 different notebooks. These notebooks range from about $10 all the way up to about $45. And I will tell you what I think of each. We'll do a pen test in every one of them. But because of that, this video is about 40 minutes long, and some people are not gonna wanna watch the whole thing. I don't blame you. So down in the description, I will hyperlink every single notebook in this so that you can just jump directly to the notebook that you wanna hear the review for. There will also be links to all of the products that I am using, all the notebooks, down in the description so that you can find the notebook that's perfect for you for 2020. So because this video is already long, I want to get right into it. So without further ado, let's get into this notebook review. All right, guys, so we are going to start from the cheapest to the most expensive notebooks in this video. So the very first one we're starting with is this Milko. I believe I'm pronouncing that right. I might be a little bit off. So I bought this on Amazon. Right now the price is $10 and it is spiral bound. It has 100 pages, so I believe it's 200 front and back. And it has 80 GSM paper, and it is a soft cover. This one, they have different versions, but this one has these little inserts, and they have the metallic foiling on the front and on the back. So this one says think free, and it's pink, but we'll get right into it. So it has two, and then we get into these pages. Now, the very first thing I notice is that the dots are fairly dark, but the paper is bright white. These are micro perforated along the edges here. And again, so this one is $10 on Amazon, and it has a 4.5 star rating. So for $10, this is pretty good. This is A5 size. It might be just a hair smaller than like the Leuchtturm, but we'll open this up. I do want to show you a color comparison here. So you can see that there is a pretty significant difference. This is much creamier colored. This is a bit brighter. I wouldn't call this like the brightest white, but it is a lot whiter than the Leuchtturm pages. So feeling these feel pretty light, but I believe that these are coated pages, so they're supposed to hold up to markers. We will run a pen test here in just a second. This does not come with any of the added features of some of the other notebooks. So for that $10, you are going to miss out on the elastic closure and the ribbon bookmarks, the pocket. But it does come with these dividers, which is kind of cool. You could take them out if you don't want them. They do just come out and they can snap in. So you could change them around if you wanted to separate like different months, or if you wanted to separate your collections from your monthlies. That would be a great way to use these. Or like I said, you can just take them out completely. So let's open up to this page, and we're just going to run a very quick pen test. So I'm just going to pull out some markers that I know that often bleed through in different notebooks, and we will kind of test them out and see how it goes. Okay, so for this pen test, these are going to be the markers that I'm just going to use throughout each and every notebook just to keep it consistent. So I have Papermate Inkjoy Gel Pen 0.7. I also have a Faber-Castell Pitt Artist pen. So this is a fine liner. I have a Tombow dual brush pen, and I picked one that is pretty pigmented because I noticed that different Tombows bleed through differently. So this one I've used before, and it kind of has some show through on my Nuuna. So I want to test it in all these other notebooks. I grabbed another Tombow, but this is the twin tone. So this has the bullet nib and then the fine line nib. I also grabbed Muji gel pen to see how it holds up. As for other brush pens, I'm going to grab the Ecoline brush pen. So these are a watercolor brush pen. And then I also have a Zebra mild liner. And then the last one I'm going to test, which I'm going to grab, is going to be the Tombow Foodie pen. So we're just going to run these across our pages and see how they hold up in each of these notebooks. Okay, so I've ran all my pens across my page, and I've also labeled them from top to bottom here so that we can just kind of see which is which. And we're going to flip this over and see what it looks like. So on this side, I can see some very, very light ghosting, meaning that I can kind of see through. However, none of the inks actually bled through onto this side of the paper. Now, I tried to go decently slow on these. I could pick up this and we'll just kind of hold it down. So this might happen when you're coloring or when you're switching directions on brush lettering, where you kind of hold it in one spot and then move it, and we'll kind of just see if that shows through or not. And still, it's not bleeding through. And again, I think that's due to these pages are coated. They are very soft and smooth. So there is some slight ghosting where you can kind of see the writing, and you can kind of feel where the pen, where I wrote those words. But aside from that, it looks really good. I'm really impressed because this doesn't bother me, but that's personal preference. So this is the Milko. Again, you can get this for $10 on Amazon, and all of these notebooks will be linked below. I will tell you which ones are from Amazon and which ones you can't get. So we'll move on to the next one. Okay, so next in line is the Scrivwell dot grid notebook. So this one is a hardcover notebook. This is A5 size. It has 208 dotted pages. It has the expandable interior folder. It also has 2 ribbon bookmarkers, and this says it is PEFC certified 120 GSM paper. It is coated paper, and it has the elastic closure band. This one has 4.5 stars on Amazon and is $13 currently. So it comes with the little piece on here, but you can just take it off and you are left with just a clean notebook. I do believe this came in a couple other colors, not a huge wide array, but pretty decent. It is thicker than some of the other notebooks, so comparison to the Leuchtturm, it is slightly thicker because it has some more pages, and probably because the pages are 120 GSM. So we'll open this up and see how it lays. So as usual, this very first page always seems to be glued, where it's really hard to open, but after that, it is thread bound, and it does appear that if you were to slowly break these in, so if you don't know, when you break in a notebook, you should just flip a few pages at a time and then kind of press it open, and then flip a few pages and press it open, and just kind of do that as you go through the book, and that will help it with the lay flat binding, and it also helps not to break your binding right away if you just move through it slowly and just do a couple pages at a time. So again, this one has a cream color, but still not as creamy as this one. So this is the Leuchtturm again, and I'm trying to get to a page where it doesn't have a bunch of stuff on it. Okay, here. So again, you can kind of see the color difference. A lot of people are familiar with the Leuchtturm and the color of the paging, and that is why I'm using it as comparison. So this is still not stark white, but it is not cream colored like the Leuchtturm. The dot grid on this paper runs edge to edge. They come right to the edge, which is really nice, so you don't have that big border around the outside. You can use the entire page. So we'll run a pen test in this one. Again, we're gonna run the exact same order as the last ones. Okay, so here is the completed pen test on this side, and the colors showed up nicely. And so this one does not, by the way, have dot or numbered pages, and either did the Milko. So that might be a downfall for some people. And like the other one, you can kind of see some light ghosting here, but it's not, I don't think it's as visible. And I can't feel as much. I can kind of feel some on maybe where the fine line pen was and the Muji, but aside from that, I can't feel anything, and there is no actual bleed through. So this one is, again, this one is $13, and it is A5 size, and you can get it on Amazon with free shipping if you have Prime. Okay, so the next one we have is the Minimalism Art, and it's actually the same price as the next one that we'll be doing, which is the Lemome journal. So this is the Minimalism Art, and it is currently $14 on Amazon. It does come in this really nice box for if you want to give it as a gift. It also helps keep the notebook safe in transit, so that's really nice. I'm going to open this up and we'll get the notebook out, and then I will go into the specs. Okay, so this is the pink version, and it is almost like a metallic pink. It's got a shimmer to it, and then it has the gold, I think, embossing, or is it imprint on there, that says Minimalism Art, established in 2009 and made in San Francisco. So it's right off the bat, I think this is super pretty. It is super, super thick. So let's grab this one that we just did. So this is the Scrivwell, and this one is even bigger than that. So this one is 234 pages, and it has 120 GSM paper. And this one has 4.5 stars on Amazon as well. So right away, it has a name and address, which is super nice. I encourage people to fill these out because you never know if you're going to take your notebook out and you leave it somewhere. There are definitely good people in the world, and they'd be happy to return it to you if they knew how to. So let's open it up. This one has a built-in index. So we have front and back index pages, and then we move right on to our dot grid pages. So these dot grid appear to run all the way to the edge to edge, and these are numbered pages. So we're going to give this a quick flip through and make sure that all the dots line up across the pages, that they all look straight. That's something that I know people have had issues with, and they appear to be pretty good. There might be a tiny bit difference, but I'm not seeing anything super significant. Oh, this one. So this one might be a little bit off. I don't know if you guys can see that. This is a giant notebook. This would last a long time, so that's super nice. So the other things this one comes with, so it does come with the elastic closure, which matches the color of the journal. It comes with the interior expandable pocket, and it is a paper pocket. It also comes with ribbon bookmarks, and they are different colored, so whether you use those to mark off where you're at currently in maybe a collection or habit tracker. So this one has the pink and the white, and they do have a little bit of gold on the edges. I think this is super cute. It's just an extra detail. For some people that really matters, and to me, for the price at $14 so far, I'm pretty impressed. We obviously have to see how the pages hold up to ink. So let's flip. I really like this, and I might want to use it in the future for myself. So we're going to flip to this very back page. And it does seem to, again, if you broke it in, it does have the lay flat design, and it does seem to open up really nicely. So that is a huge benefit. All right, so now we'll do the pen test. So we'll go to the back, this one, and we'll run our pen test. Okay, so I've completed the pen test on this Minimalism Art journal, and these appear to look really good on paper. Again, the colors are showing up really nice. They're very vivid. And on the back, so far, this is the best one. I don't feel like there is nearly as much ghosting on this one as the one before. And this paper is about the same as the previous two. It is not like super starch white, but it's definitely not cream. It would be more considered an ivory color. So I think this looks really nice. I'm really impressed. And this, again, this notebook is so big, and it has a lot of pages in it, and it's spacious, and it appears to be well made. So the next one we're going to do is going to be the Lemome journal, which is also $14. Okay, so this is the Lemome. It also comes in a nice little black box here. I wouldn't say it's as sturdy as the Minimalism Art box, but it does come in a box so that you could easily wrap this up and give it as a gift. So I'm going to open this up and we will dive in. All right, so this was definitely a lighter cardboard box than the one before. It's not something that I would probably keep, where the one before is a nice keepsake box. This is more just a protective layer box. Okay, so I was looking at my Amazon order, and if I'm correct, this is the line journal, and it is. I didn't order the dot grid, but upon looking, they are both the same. It's just different pages inside. So it's all the same paper quality, the same color, everything like that. So this looks really nice. It's very professional looking. I like that the outer binding is a slightly different color than this. So this is kind of a slate gray. You've got your pen loop here, which is awesome. I like this pen loop on this side compared to this side. I don't know why. I guess that's just personal preference. It does have the elastic closure, and it has the interior pocket. And this one has one ribbon bookmark. And so this one, because the journal is brown, the ribbon bookmark is brown as well. So we're going to open this up. It does come with these little page dividers that you could stick on the outside of your page. And it also has a place to write your name and your address or your phone number. So again, this one is not dot grid. I apologize for that. I guess I just ordered the wrong one. So this does not have numbered pages, and right off the bat, my pages are still stuck together, but they look nice. One thing I'm noticing right away, at least the lined version, and I have seen other people say this about the dot grid version, these are not lining up. So far for $14, I'm not all that impressed, because if this was me and I was writing, I would be rather upset that my lines or dots are not lining up, that my paper is not cut, but as you can see, some of these lines are completely off. They are not lining up at all. These pages are definitely more cream colored than the last ones. I don't know as though they're as cream colored as the Leuchtturm pages. So these are just as creamy as the Leuchtturm. So this is definitely a cream color, where the ones before were more ivory. Okay, so let's run our pen test. We're gonna try to get through these fast. This is a long video. So we're gonna run our pen test in this notebook. Okay, so here is the completed pen test in the Lemome. I'm not sure that I gave you all the stats on this. So this does have 120 GSM paper. It has 180 pages. And it currently has a 4.4 star review on Amazon. And again, what I'm thinking is I'm not all that impressed. All these pages are still stuck together as if they weren't cut. And with the lines being off, I'm like, that's just something I don't want to deal with. However, it doesn't appear to bleed through. It does have a little bit of ghosting, and I can see where the mild liner, where I stopped it right here, it's kind of a little bit deeper than anything else. So if you were going to overlap colors in this or going to try to blend colors, they might actually bleed through. Okay, so our next notebook in this collection is the Baron Fig Confidant, and this is the Confidant Plus from Baron Fig. Now you can't, as far as I know, get these on Amazon. You do have to order them from Baron Fig. However, Baron Fig does ship free over $30. So these come in, I think, 3 or 4 different colors. I think they have a maroon, the gray, and maybe a yellow color. It does have the one yellow ribbon bookmark, and this one, the plus version, retails for $22, but their flagship, which is comparable to A5 size, is 18, so that is why it's placed here, because most people might want the A5 size, and so this would be, the A5 size would be the next in line price-wise. So this has a canvas kind of cover, which I don't know as though I love. These do tend to get really dirty, so again, I've had this one for a little while, but they tend to just pick up everything because they're canvas, so it gets sucked into those fibers, and they're hard to clean. It does not have the elastic closure. It doesn't have a pocket on the interior. And again, it only has one ribbon bookmark here. And the pages in this are very creamy. However, the dots are really light, which I do really like. They're large, but they're very light. So I had initially planned to use this in 2019, and I decided against it. There are no page numbers in this. It does have the lay flat thread binding. And overall, the paper is still whiter than the one that we looked at previously, or the Leuchtturm. So this is, again, an ivory-based paper. So I can show you, this was done with Tombows and with fine line pens. And on the back, you can't really see any bleed through, but you do see some ghosting. And then we will run our pen test as well. So I'm going to flip to a back page here, and it looks like I've already been testing out some pens here. So we'll go ahead and test out our pens on this one. Okay, so there is our pen test. These appear nice on the page. I will note that this paper it doesn't feel quite as smooth as the other paper I've used. It just doesn't have as smooth of a texture. These do ghost through. This is the Inkjoy, so I use the Inkjoy to write all the names, and the Inkjoy does kind of show through. It's not a bleed through, but it definitely ghosts a little bit more in this than the others. So this notebook is, again, this is the plus, so this is 7 by 10 inches. The flagship is 5.4 by 7.7 inches. And the flagship version, so the smaller one, has 192 pages, and then this, the plus, has 208 pages and 90 GSM paper. So again, I don't think you can buy this on Amazon, but I will leave the links to everything down below, and you can check out Baron Fig if this is a notebook that you're interested in. So the next two are on the exact same price point range. So this is the Dingbats Wildlife Notebook, and this one is the A5 Plus. So it is a little bit wider than standard A5 size notebooks, but it's not really that much bigger. So we're gonna set this Leuchtturm directly on top so that you can see how much of a difference it is. So the Dingbats just sticks out just a little bit on the edges and on the bottom. So it's not that much bigger. So this notebook is 8.5 by 6.3 inches. Again, this is the A5 Plus. It has 100 GSM paper and 192 pages, and it currently has 4.5 stars on Amazon. So upon opening, this book is kind of cool. It does have some really unique little features, like the facts about wildlife and the national parks, stuff like that. If that's not something you're into, then that might break it for some people. This does have a section to write your name and address and phone number and whatever else. You also have a tab key, so it tells you how to use your pages in this as well. And then you have your index, a key, a color key. The pages in this are so buttery soft, like they're, oh gosh, there's no texture there. They're just so smooth. So you have 1, 2, 3 pages of index, and then this is marked off as a future log. So it says future log at the top, and it has these light gray lines so that you could measure everything out perfectly. And I think that's pretty cool. So again, this is one I've had for a while. It was gifted to me by Dingbats. These do have numbered pages. They have these little gray dots that have the number, and it is negative space inside of it. And then the other thing with this is, we'll flip to a clean page, they have these little circular things along the side, so you could color code these based on what your page is, and then you could use your color key to keep track of that. So it would just help you flip through to different sections faster. So this does have the very creamy colored paper, much like the Leuchtturm. It is not an ivory, it is a cream, and it's very, very smooth. So it is a coated paper so that your markers are not supposed to bleed through at all. So we'll run our pen test. Okay, so here is our completed pen test. I will tell you right now that this paper is so smooth and soft that it was an absolute dream to write with the Inkjoy across it. However, with the paper being this smooth, sometimes your ink won't dry as fast, so there is a chance of smearing. Again, this one has some light ghosting, much like almost everything else we've looked at. There is some ghosting. You can kind of see through to the other side. It's not super significant, but it is definitely there. But there is no bleed through with any of the heavy ink and pigmented markers like the Tombow. With the cream colored paper, the colors do look a little bit different. And again, that's just personal preference if you prefer cream or ivory or bright white. So that's the Dingbats notebook. And again, this one comes in at about $20 right now on Amazon. So these are getting up into a little bit pricier range. And then the next one is the Leuchtturm, and it is also $20. All right, so many of you might already know about the Leuchtturm. They are probably one of the most popular notebooks around as far as for bullet journaling. They've been around for a long time, and they just have a history of being good quality notebooks. So I've had this one for a long time, and I've used it for all kinds of things. So as you can see, it's been used, and I used these for quite a while. These do have a creamier colored page. They have 80 GSM paper, and I do believe this is also coated. These are often made for people who like to use fountain pens. There are 249 pages in here. It does have the back pocket, It also has the elastic closure and the 2 ribbon bookmarks. So one is striped and one is a solid color. Leuchtturm probably has the biggest selection of colors that you can choose from. They just also released a muted tones that are really pretty, but they have so many colors to choose from. So if you want something that kind of matches your personality, Leuchtturm definitely offers that with their color range. So we're going to get into a pen test and see how these perform on the pages. Okay, so there is our pen test. These look really nice. I've always liked these notebooks. They perform well with just about any pen. And while there is some ghosting, there isn't a lot of bleed through. However, something that I remember when I used these is the mild liners. So the zebra mild liners, which is this purple color here, do not perform very well on this paper. They tend to, especially if you stop and make a mark, they do tend to bleed through a little. So you can kind of see here where at the stopping points where you're going to be leaving that ink in one spot a little bit longer, you might end up with little bits of color that do come through. However, these notebooks are really good. They're just a good quality notebook. You're guaranteed to have pages that line up and all of the nice quality features. So if you don't mind a little bit of ghosting and occasional bleed through with heavier, wetter markers, then it's not going to be an issue. Okay, the next one on our list is the Scribbles That Matter. I thought that I was ordering the Pro, so this is right off the bat. This was listed as the Pro on Amazon. However, it is not the Pro because it is the B5, and I don't believe they've come out with a Pro. So Scribbles That Matter did just release a Pro version that is supposed to have 160 GSM paper and is supposed to be very high quality. This one is one of the originals, I guess. So slightly after they released the one that had all the icons on the cover, they released some that didn't. So this one has 115 GSM paper in comparison to 160. It has 200 numbered pages. It also has pen test pages, a key code page, and 3 index pages. Lay flat design, a pen loop. This is vegan leather. It has the inner pocket and 2 bookmarks. So it did come in this plastic case, which is kind of nice just because, again, it just kind of keeps it from getting dinged up while it's in the mail. And this one is available on Amazon. And so for the B5, this one was about $25, and the A5 for the Pro version is $22 right now on Amazon, and you can get those with free shipping if you have Prime. So we'll go ahead and open this up and get into this notebook. Okay, so right off the bat, this is the teal color. Scribbles That Matter does offer a couple different colors, but not a ton in comparison to someone like Leuchtturm. And then they do have the name Scribbles That Matter on the side, and so this is kind of pushed into the vegan leather. I'm forgetting what that word is called. So let's get this off, and maybe, and then just have to tear this. So this one has the pen loop on this side. So far what we've seen, the only one that had a pen loop was, I believe, the Lemome, and it had it just on this side. So this one does come with a pen loop, so does the A5 sized one. This one has a place to write your name, address, phone number right off the bat. It also has a place to write the date you started and ended it. So right up front, you have your key. So you have a bullet code and a color code if that is something that you like to do in your bullet journal. And then it also has your index pages. So you have 3 pages of index. Again, this is the B5, so this is quite a bit bigger than the standard A5 size. And if you get the A5, it will reflect this just on a smaller level. So now we get into the dot grid pages. This first one is a little wonkety because it's been glued together. So flipping to the next one, these are numbered down at the bottom, and they're a super light number. Now this does have a bit of a margin around the edges. The top doesn't seem to have as big of one. However, on the bottom, there is a good size margin between where this dot is and where the end of the page is. Now this paper is whiter than the Leuchtturm paper. So again, this is more of an ivory color. I wouldn't call it starch white, but it is an ivory color, and the dots are very light. So that's really nice if you don't like your dots to interfere with your lettering or with your page spreads or whatever you're doing on your page. So let's run our pen test, and we should probably just do this on the pen test page, which is at the back maybe? Oh, okay. And let's look here. So our pocket is here on the back, and it does have all these cute little doodly icons here too, and that's just kind of what they are. And this, I didn't know this was in here, so this is a mindfulness page. It says flip through this journal from the first page to the last to see all the scribbles, a mirror of your past, A mirror to your past, what have you learned? Have you grown? Reflect and ponder when you are alone. So here's our pen test page. So this is where we're going to do all of our pen testing. It feels the exact same as this paper. This does have a little bit of texture on it. It's definitely not as smooth as the Leuchtturm paper or the Dingbats paper. Okay, so here is our pen test page. I am really liking this. It has a pen test page in it. It's nice because if I do decide to use this in the future, I won't just have some random page in the journal that I have just scribbled on. It's meant for the pen test, and so it doesn't really matter. So flipping it over, there is some ghosting here, but there is no bleed through from any of the markers. I can see where the mild liner stopped in a ghosting way, but it didn't actually bleed through to the back. So that's really nice. Again, overall, I like this. I think it looks really good. It's big and it has a lot of space, and it does have all the features of the other notebooks. However, this one is, again, getting up there in price into the $20 range. As I said, the A5 is $22, and then the B5 is about $25 on Amazon. Okay, so we're down to our last two journals, and the next one is a fan favorite, and everybody has said that this is the journal I should go with in 2020. So this is the Archer and Olive. I bought this early in 2019, I believe, and I have just ordered another one that is a B5 for 2020, as I think is what I want to use. So the Archer and Olive, the big thing with them is they are rather expensive. The A5 is $31 and the B5 is $35, but these notebooks have what other notebooks just can't compare with. They do have 160 GSM paper, so they hold up to just about anything. You can use watercolor in these, just about anything. They have 160 pages traditionally in this one and in the B5, but Archer and Olive did just release one that has 192 pages. If you go to their website, that's where they're available. They're also available at select retailers, but from their website, you will have to pay shipping on anything under $70. So with the notebooks being $31 and $35, you're probably going to be paying closer to $40 or a little above $40 for your notebook. So right off the bat, we'll get into this. It does have a place to write who it belongs to, your name, address, things like that. I used this for health and fitness for a while, and then some different patterns and testing. So we'll open up to a clean page here. This has super nice lay flat design of any of the notebooks. This one definitely has the brightest white paper. However, the dots in this are more visible than they are in, say, the Scribbles That Matter. So these dots are a little bit more pronounced. And it doesn't have page numbers. Now, I can't speak for the newer ones. Again, I bought this one in earlier 2019. Their website does not say that they have page numbers. So that might be something to think about before you purchase this. It does have the back pocket and the elastic closure. It also has an attached pen loop and the two ribbon bookmarks that are the same color. So we're going to go ahead and run a pen test with the pens that we have. And one other thing I wanted to point out is it does have these very nice metallic page edges, which they're just really beautiful. So if it's an aesthetic thing that you really like, these have a nice aesthetic to them. They are very pretty and very modern and just very professional looking. Okay, so here's our completed pen test. These did perform really well. This paper is a lot more textured than a lot of the other papers, and I can actually kind of tell that there is almost some fraying of this Inkjoy pen, not like a lot, and you would have to be looking very close up, but it's just something that I noticed while I was writing the names down that I hadn't noticed before, so I thought it was worth mentioning. So flipping this over, as I kind of already knew because I've used this, there is nothing. You can't see anything. There is no ghosting. There is no bleed through. There's absolutely nothing on this page behind, and that is probably the biggest pro of these notebooks. These are so sturdy and they hold up to just about anything. So if ghosting bothers you, everything we've looked at previously has had ghosting at least, and this has absolutely nothing. So you can turn the page and it's as if this notebook had never even been touched or used. So that's really nice. I do love the bright white paper. I think that these are expensive, but I also think that if you have already been bullet journaling, that this might be, and you know that you enjoy it, that this is a good investment if it's something that you like. If you like that bright white paper and you like the really thick, sturdy paper, then it is worth your time to invest in one of these. All right, so we are on to our last notebook, and this is not my current bullet journal, but this is the exact same brand and the same version as I use. So this is the Nuuna, and it is the most expensive notebook on the list. You can occasionally find these a little bit cheaper, but on Amazon they range from about $30 to $45, and they have no added features. So these are soft cover, they're not a hard cover. This is the large size. So the large size on the Nuuna is 6.5 by 8.6, but it doesn't have an elastic closure. It has no ribbon bookmarks. It has no pocket. And this one actually doesn't have page numbers. I believe mine has page numbers, but this one does not. So I have used this before, and I've used this just in videos. It's something that I use when I'm just doodling or drawing, things like that. So I want to get into this and show you guys how the paper holds up in this notebook. Okay, so here is the final pen test in the Nuuna, and as I was doing this, I realized that I do not think this is the same version as the one I have. So here is my Nuuna, and I just want to be completely transparent with these. I have loved these notebooks and I've used them for years now, and then they changed them. So before, I don't know what kind of paper this is, but the new paper is called Munkin paper, I believe. The new paper is called Minkin paper. So this is my current journal. It does have the page numbers, which is one way to know if this is an older version or a newer version. The older versions didn't have page numbers. The newer versions do. But we'll just flip through this, and I want to show you how these bleed through on mine. So on mine, here is some of the bleed through from the Tombow Twin Tones. This one was done with a Tombow marker and bled through here. This is just a black marker, like a bullet nib pen. And you can see that it has bled through here. So I do want to be transparent because the older versions of the Nuunas were amazing, and I thought they were well worth the price. This one, as you can see, there's very little ghosting. You can see through it. It's not Archer and Olive thick, but it's comparable with the rest, where the newer version does not hold up, and the paper quality just is not there. So for the price, I don't think it's worth it. Hence why I'm switching in 2020. But for this one, it did show up. So if you can find an older version that doesn't have the page numbers on it, you might be in luck and you might be able to find one that's really good. This does have the 3mm dot spacing in comparison to 5mm, and it takes some getting used to. I like the size of this journal. I love it. I love that it's not quite B5, but it's not A5. I've grown really accustomed to the 3mm dot spacing, but again, anymore, the newer ones, the quality just isn't there on the pages, and they don't hold up to any type of marker. So that wraps up my notebook review for 2019 for upcoming 2020. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please, please, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you want to see more. It really, really helps me, and I appreciate it so much. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.